Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Tampa Honda, and boy oh boy, we have the one that you've been asking me for. This is a refreshed, updated 2021 Honda Accord. This is the top touring trim, but it's also, as you can see, featured in a new color for the Accord palette. This is that Sonic Gray Pearl, which was first seen on the Honda Civic Type R. But before we get into this mid-size power pack sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. So the 11th generation of the Honda Accord is very, very near. As a way to kind of bridge that gap from the 10th generation to the 11th generation, Honda decided to do some updates, some refresh, and definitely bring some extra touches to the 10th generation of the Accord. Now, the Accord has been around since 1976, if you could believe that. It has been featured in Car and Driver's top 10 vehicles, the best top 10 vehicles, over 33 times. And with this 2021, you're gonna get some very fresh technology on the interior, but you're also gonna get that Civic Type R detuned engine and that 10-speed automatic. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out, is the 2021 Honda Accord the ultimate mid-size sedan, especially when you look at the competition, the Mazda 6, the Hyundai Sonata, and of course, that new Kia K5. Let's go ahead and dive in. So right off the bat, the color. I think Sonic Gray Pearl really fits the lines, and it seems to be a popular shade of color on lots of different vehicles. At the front end of the business, you're gonna see an updated, upgraded headlight housing and design. Now, I know a lot of people were saying that they were missing the jewel-like LED formation, but these LED headlights, which are standard across all the trims, are actually brighter. And they did that on purpose because that was one area when you looked at the Highway Institute of Safety rating, that was where they were getting zonked themselves from the Highway Safety Institute, was because of the lighting. But you do have your LED daytime running lamp, LED turn signal. You work your way down. This is all refreshed for 2021. You're gonna have a nice, tasteful side air curtain that's actually functional, LED fog lamps, and just a little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. And I love the way they extended it and made it drip all the way to the end right here. You can see how that front fascia kind of extends down, gives a lot of different design element, and overall it's still looking fresh, even though it's been a few years since the 10th generation came out. Now, as we come across the grille, this is the new talking point. This is all redesigned for 2021, that front grille area. So you can see how we still have the chrome brow that runs across the top. You got your chrome Honda badge. And remember, when I say chrome, I'm just talking about the shiny, blingy stuff. It's made out of plastic, all right? It's not chrome. But you have the chrome finish, nice horizontal, clean, all the different levels of design all the way down. They even took the Honda sensing technology and even moved it a little bit further back so it wasn't like right in your face as soon as you saw the front of the vehicle. But I do love the way, if you notice how it drops down, has this little bit of a lip spoiler area and then curves back up. But that is your all new 2021 nose. Definitely put in the comment section what you think about that grille. Now, when we get up onto the hood, everything else is gonna be the same. You have the nice rise, goes towards the windshield, and then super clean coming off towards the A-pillar. Remember, this generation was all about shaking the tree of boring design. The 9th generation, a lot of people refer to that as a refrigerator. It was reliable, it did what it was supposed to do, but it was lacking in looks. Still, 10th generation, I think they did a great job on that grille area, and this color is really making it for me. Come around the bend, here's your all new wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna have this machined aluminum finish with some gloss black. This is a 19-inch wheel, just like before, but they changed up the style. It's gonna be 235 on the width, 40 series sidewall. Remember, it's still front wheel drive, 10-speed automatic transmission, but I think it really works super well compared to the older touring design of that spinning blade, especially with our particular color that we have here. But as we go down the side, still have that great same high belt line, a little bit of chrome trim on the door handles. I do like the chrome trim along the bottom sill and this body line indentation. What I don't like is back here when we get towards the rear, but let me show you that you do still have your standard size sunroof, chrome trim just on the top, and I think one of my favorite things that Honda does is they flare it out as you get towards the rear. Nice size on the rear quarter window, And then as we get towards the rear, this is the one thing I really don't fall in love with, is I wish they would have left the chrome trim down there. They extended it all the way to the rear. I'm gonna zonk that. It's a little too much, a little too heavy. But other than that, great flow coming from the back, from the front to the back. It would have been nice on the Touring trim, since this is the top level trim, to have a nice trunk lid spoiler kick up here, whether it be gloss black or color matched. You have your Accord badge, and then they did not redesign the stapler taillights. This is something that's going to be saved for the 11 generation. Now, as we drop down, you do have your tasteful brushed aluminum trim rings. There is functional exhaust on both sides. I like the way they took this flat black and just ran it across. Gives this bottom portion some nice definition and touch. You got that Honda badge, your 2-liter turbo, Touring trim, nice and wide from the rear. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and check out the heart of this 2021 Accord. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. This is the power plant that I would choose if I was buying a Honda Accord, a new 2021 Accord. This is exactly the way I would go. I would just go all in, go the Touring trim route, because you're gonna get that 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. Remember, it's detuned from the Type R, so it's 252 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, very fast, slick shifting transmission. I know some people are upset they got rid of the 6-speed manual. Well, guess what? Nobody was buying it. So if they're not buying it, then that's why they wound up axing it. But the 10-speed shifts so smooth, it's going to give you a 0 to 60, 5.5 seconds. Quarter mile is going to go by at 14.1 seconds. Top speed is governed to 125 miles an hour. And on the Touring 2-liter turbo trim, you're looking at 25 in the city, 34 on the highway. I think one of the things I always like to point out with the Touring trim is this has adaptive dampers. So what that means is when you go into the different modes, it actually adjusts the compression and the rebound of the suspension to give you really the optimized handling that you expect from your Accord. And what's even more fascinating is that this car around Virginia International Raceway in the Touring trim is 4 seconds a lap faster than the Toyota Camry TRD, which, remember, they built that Camry TRD to be a performance vehicle on the track. This is faster. The zonk, though, it's not perfect. I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, it must be perfect. No, it's close, but not perfect. You do have a prop rod. I wish, at least on the Touring trim, that they would offer hydraulic hood struts, but very, very clean underneath the hood. Engine compartment, nice, tasteful cover. And then you could clearly see the heat shield, because that's where the turbocharger is located, right at the front of the engine compartment, which is kind of neat just to see that. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the even bigger part. It's not just about the paint. It's definitely not just about the performance. Let's get to the interior and see what's in store for the 2021 Accord Touring. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 refreshed Accord with that beautiful Sonic Gray Pearl color. I've been talking throughout this review about, if I was to get a Honda Accord, a new Honda Accord, this would be exactly the way that I would option it. The color, the trim. And I know you're at that point where you're like, well, Joe, if you're gonna get it this way, how much does it cost? Well, before I let the cat out of the bag, just know that there is an additional $500 across each trim added to the price of the Accord for 2021. But the good news is you're getting more standard features. So that's one of the reasons why they did that. And then another thing is, if you don't like or want a Touring trim, there's actually 6 different trims. So they really make an Accord for everybody, except for the people that want manual, but they gave you that shot. I would have went manual, but since I can't get a manual, this is the way I would do it. I'm ready to let the cat out of the bag since you've been patient. Thank you back there for being patient, not falling asleep on me. MSRP, here it is, $38,000 for this Touring trim, exactly the way that you see it optioned out. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. Now, I love what they've done with the dark material. Every single Honda Accord Touring that we have featured on Rady's Rides has been cream color. I like the darker interior color. Even the wood trim, tasteful, not too gaudy. A little bit of silver goes right into the door handle, so smooth. And those armrests, you have plenty of real estate, plus they're soft and supple. And you have some nice white contrast stitching. The only zonk is the door pocket. If you're gonna go to Chipotle, you're gonna have to stick to maybe a couple tacos, because if you try to get a burrito in there, you're gonna get guac and sour cream all over the place. But you do have a nice area for a large bottle of Dr. Pepper to wash it all down. We get to the dash, soft touch material. You can see how they tastefully use that trim, the silver trim with the wood, looking great. And then guess what? We have some new touches for 2021. You're gonna get that 8-inch infotainment system, and I like the size of it. I know some people are still on the fence about iPad style screens, but the way that they have it leaned towards the windshield, it actually is engineered for ease of use. And you can see that you don't have to reach. It's a 1, 2, 3 thing. Of course, it's touchscreen. You do have navigation on the touring trim. New for 2021, get ready for this. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. And of course, you're still gonna have your wireless charging. So you have all the wireless technology that you want in your 2021 Accord Touring. I'm gonna put it into reverse. There's your backup camera. You do have trajectory, which is really nice. And another thing that I like is how easy it is to change the angles of the camera. Some vehicles, it's like you gotta have a special door knock or you gotta be part of the VIP club. Here, it's real simple. And the great news is the engineers work some magic, no glare on the screen. And I got the sunroof open right now. The sunshade is open, no glare on the screen. You have your bright red when it's running start stop button, easy to get to, ventilated and heated. This is another reason why I would, cough up the extra money for the Touring, is you're gonna get ventilated seats, heated seats, of course, heated steering wheel. Another thing that I love about the Accord, more so than the Camry or even the Mazda 6, which I really do love the Mazda 6, are the knobs. You have this great click to them and they feel really solid. And I feel like the little things like this that you're gonna touch every day is what's gonna add to the enjoyment of driving your Honda Accord. Everything kind of flows nicely, flat black. Open that up, look at that, open sesame. You got your wireless charging, 2 USBs and a 12 volt in there. So they got you covered with connectivity. I like the flat black, no fingerprints. Here is your push button transmission for that 10-speed automatic. You have Econ, so you could go back to an economics class your senior year of high school, see if you could pass it again. No, this just gives you better fuel economy, but this is my button right here. You hit that, that adjusts everything with the vehicle, including the shock absorbers. And I'll talk more about that when you get to the driver's side. 2 cup holders, nice and large, tasteful on the key fob. Nothing too large, nothing too small. It's not gonna stop you from having kids if it pokes you in the groin, so that's good news. And you have remote start. Put it back in here. Nice, flat, and wide on the armrest. The only problem is it's not the softest, but it's nice and wide. And look at this, you open that up, you have a removable party tray, Planters peanuts, macadamia nuts, walnuts, even if you like Brazil nuts, which I'm not really into those, but I love macadamias, I love pistachios, cashews, perfect. 12 volt in there, and then you can literally drop a box of Twinkies in there. So if you want to keep the Twinkies in the box, because sometimes it's sort of like out of sight, out of mind. If you had your Twinkies on your lap, which some people like to drive around with Twinkies on their lap, if they're on your lap, you may want to eat them more often, but you put them in there, out of sight, out of mind, in case for when you get hangry, which that happens to me a lot. Ask Lori. Seats, the leather, I like the dark material, like I said, the perforated all the way down. Look how soft this is. It's like Charmin. It's like they worked with the engineers over at Charmin, but it's really supportive, nice bolstering. And then you get to the bottom portion, 14-way adjustable seats for the passenger and the driver, which is great. And if you want headroom, I'm 6 feet tall, as I've always been ever since I started Rady's Rides. Plenty of headroom. We have a standard size sunroof, and I'm glad that they went with the lighter headliner color. Kind of opens it up a little bit in here. But why don't you come over to this thick wrapped steering wheel, this leather wrapped steering wheel, because there's some exciting things happening on the business end coming over. All right, guys, Touring trim behind the business end. You got your 2 memory seat settings, which is great. I like how easy it is to get to the seat controls, and they're 14-way adjustable. My favorite thing though is the steering wheel. Honda does a great job. It's a sexy looking steering wheel. It's something you're gonna hold on to every day, so it better look good, right? And it better feel good. I like the gray crisscross contrast stitching all the way around. Just a little bit of silver, thumb activated buttons, which are great. Flat black, which is gonna hide the fingerprints. You do have small little silver paddles behind the steering wheel to go up and down that 10-speed automatic transmission. But I think one of the things that I really like is the dash. You have a digital area, and then you have the analog speedometer, digital in the center there. And then watch this. You could actually change, if you don't want a tack there, we could change that. So you're just gonna go through the different settings and you could actually scroll. Let's say we want range and fuel. Boom, there it is, digital. Then when I go into sport mode, look at that. It shows your Accord. It shows the suspension. Things are turning red. That means we're racy, we're ready for sport, and you have a nice size head-up display. That shows the technology. And then of course you're gonna get all the great Honda sensing technology to keep you safe. But talk about keeping you safe. Let's talk about those passengers that you want to keep safe, but also want to keep happy. Let's see how much space they have in the back seat. What do you think?
Great.
All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you right now, for a mid-size sedan, Honda brings it big with the amount of room back here. I feel so comfortable that I actually wouldn't mind riding back here, and I can't always say that about every mid-size sedan that I get into. What I do like is you have the leather all the way around. Nice large pocket. Put some snacks back in there. Get one of those big large chocolate chip cookies from Whole Foods or something. Maybe even like a chocolate chip cookie cake. You can actually just slide it in there and just break off pieces, and you got the all-weather floor mats to pick up all the crumbs so the crumbs aren't getting on the carpet. It's a win-win situation. Talk about wind. We got some wind blowing out of these rear AC vents, which is really great. And you got USB. So they listened to Joe Rady on Rady's Rides, gave us USB back here. Kind of crazy to think that the Acura TLX, which is, remember, that premium brand of Honda, does not have those rear USB ports like you get on this Accord Touring. The material's so soft, and then look at this, it doesn't stop. Wonderful. Look at it, look at this armrest. It's like you can use it as a trampoline. 2 cup holders, feel great. Why don't we go ahead, let's get to the trunk and see how much junk we could put in this 2021 Accord. All right, guys, trunk time, real simple. Just push the button, lift it up, nice wide opening. You're looking at about 17 cubic feet of space. The rear seats will do that 60-40 Tango split, which is great, but I love the way they have a nice deep floor, lots of room, makes this a usable vehicle. Don't go get an SUV. Get one of these. You're gonna thank me for it because you're gonna enjoy that whole driving experience, the driving sensation. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's find out what kind of performance does this Honda Accord Touring have. Let's take it for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the 2021, that Sonic Gray Pearl Honda Accord Touring. We just left Tampa Honda, and we're doing that POV, Be Like Joe Rady camera angle. I'm gonna try to do this a little bit more whenever I can, but as you can see, I mean, like I was saying, the driver's side, the business end is really well laid out. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the tack. I like to see the tack, so real simple, use that thumb wheel, and then now the tack is right back. So really, really digging for that whole setup, and just thinking that if only all vehicles were like this, that would be so great to have vehicles where just ease of use. Getting to that infotainment system is very simple. I do have it in sport mode. I want to show you. I'll take it out of sport mode. Everything goes green. The tack actually changes. And now I'm going back into sport mode, and it brings up a boost gauge. That whole setup there right around the tack. Super clean. But great feeling from the steering. The seats are comfortable. And, you know, the bolstering could be a little bit better, especially on the bottom. But I think for the most part, those that are gonna drive this on a daily basis, it's not like you're gonna be carving corners, but this car does carve corners for a front wheel drive sedan. Like I was saying, at VIR, it turns some really, really hot laps. Getting to the paddles, very short distance. They're on the smaller side, and they are plastic, but I think at this price point, that's something to be expected. But visibility out the back glass is great. Side mirrors are wonderful. And you have that Toyota sensing technology, which is going to keep you safe, like I pointed out. But hitting the home button, going into the different settings, easy to get to just about anything in this vehicle. And then you have the wireless charging down below, the 2 USBs, and plenty of room for the snacks. I mean, while I'm sitting here at this light, if I had some tacos, which I'm hungry right about now, I could eat a couple tacos from Chipotle. Can't get the burrito though. But steering wheel, great. Tilting and telescoping steering wheel, of course. And your passengers are going to be happy as can be because they got USBs back there and AC vents. Acceleration time, this is where the Accord really does well, especially against the competition. Let me slow down a little bit here, and then we're going to get on throttle. On throttle! So nice smooth shifts from that 10-speed. It's not too much of an obnoxious noise coming from the engine compartment, which is great. And it gets you up and going very, very quickly. Like I said, you put this up against the Camry TRD, you're gonna blow its doors off. Even though the Camry TRD does have that V6 around different tracks and different curvy roads, this Touring actually really does the business very, very well. But driving down the road, a little bit of road noise, but nothing too crazy that you're not gonna find in any of the competition. And I just like how smooth everything is. You're not waiting for the boost to come in. It just pulls very nice and linear for a turbocharged engine. And that's what they did, was they detuned it from the Type R setup to give you a little bit different driving experience that was more suited for a compact sedan. But I'm gonna come to a stop here. It's a little bit wet, as you can see, so this is gonna test the traction limits. But on throttle, little bit of spin there, a little bit of spin. Traction control kicks in and we're off and going again. Very, very interesting how the traction control system let that spin occur. I'm sure on a dry setup that would actually be beneficial a little bit when coming out of a turn, but on this damp pavement, as you can see, the car actually shifted a little bit, which you'd want to definitely back out of throttle there. But the steering feel is what earns Honda all the money with this Accord. You're getting great feedback when you go through the twisty bits. Once again, on throttle. Nice feedback. Decreasing radius. One of the things that I really just noticed there is as you're coming out of the turn, the transmission is already in a good sweet spot in the gearing. So it's not like you're constantly chasing up and down the 10-speed. It really does a great job to give you the gear based off of the speed that you're doing. And that just shows the hard work and the engineering that has gone into the Honda Accord, especially with this 10-speed automatic. But hopefully this gave you a wonderful overall feel of what the car is all about. I wish it was a little bit drier out there on the roads for me to really showcase the handling, because that's my favorite part, is just how well this Accord Touring handles, especially with the adaptive dampers. But I'm sure this gave you a good taste and really kind of showcase why this would be the Accord trim that I would buy. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Tampa Honda and wrap this up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Tampa Honda. I definitely gotta thank Sam and the rest of the crew getting us access, not just to any 2021 Honda Accord, top trim, Touring, with the new wheels and that new paint job that's been added to the color palette. Really, if I was gonna get an Accord, like I've been saying throughout this review, this would be exactly the way I option it. I think the color fits it to a T. You got that sporty drive and definitely some performance that when you compare it to other compact sedans in this class, it keeps it at the top of the heap. But if you wanna keep seeing mid-size sedans that have a little extra something, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rated Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rated Rise merch. Got to get it up to the queen of the camera. Also working with Mother Nature to get it to stop raining. Today has been a total downpour, but Lori communicated with Mother Nature and got it to stop raining so that we could get this done. So definitely show her some love in the comment section, because she's bringing it all and in a big way. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.